Welcome into another edition of That's Deep. I'm Tommy Z, joined as always by Johnny Bravo. Coming off a beautiful weekend last weekend. We crushed that card. We hit the parlay for the show, and we hit a bunch of live bets. We hit a lot of our pre-flop bets. So coming in, feeling like we kind of got our groove going. It's been a bit of a shaky start to the year, but it's nice to come off a big W, and looking forward to this card. It's a fun card. Obviously, we got Max and Charles in the main event, so I mean, how can you argue with that? Aside from the fact that I love both fighters and I don't really want to see one of them lose, but I'm looking forward to this one. How you feeling, Johnny?
Yeah, this is a banger card we got coming in after we had a great card. It wasn't last week's card. We kind of bitched and moaned about how it wasn't the greatest betting cards and all that. But I mean, usually that's when we poach our spots and we make our money. That's what we did last week. And yeah, DFS was good. Betting was good. NASCAR was good. It was a good weekend overall. I'm looking to keep momentum and roll and find some winners on this card.
Absolutely, man. It's a good NASCAR bet or NASCAR race to bet too. So I'm looking forward to tying some stuff together for this one, and I'm looking forward to a good weekend. But we'll jump right into the first fight here. We've got some rough fights on this card, but just like last week, we'll find a way to pick through and we'll make the best of it. We got Luke Fernandez taking on Rodolfo Vieira. Bellato. Rodolfo Bellato. What is this, light heavyweight fight? Fernandez making his debut. Bellato's been around for a couple fights. He's had some interesting fights, to say the least. A lot of people thought he was acting in that Paul Craig fight, but, potentially, I don't know, was knocked out. Who knows? But, Bellato's a guy. He's real strange guy. He's a tough guy, but don't really know what to make of him. Fernandez comes in. He's got some good grappling. He's got some good power. Interesting matchup here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Bellato's I kind of liked him coming into the UFC. I thought he had some potential, big knockout on the Contender Series. And, he comes into the UFC and has kind of a shaky start. I mean, Ihor Potieria had him rocked and almost finished. He was able to come back. I mean, the fight probably should have been stopped. But he was able to survive, and then Potieria is just so bad, he gassed out, and he was able to get the finish there. And then Jimmy Crute was looking good, and he was looking terrible early, and then Jimmy Crute did what he did and gassed out, and then he ended up 10-8ing Crute and skating out with the draw. And then he had the acting match with Paul Craig, which wasn't a good look. And then, Navajo Sterling, just not a great performance. So I don't know. He's got power in his hands. I kind of question his cardio and his heart. But he does have power. The striking is okay. He can grapple a little bit himself too. And I mean, I'm just not a big Bellato fan anymore. And Luke Fernandez, I mean, he looks like a solid prospect coming up. Looked really good on the Contender Series. Coming from CFC, that's generally a pretty good promotion as of recent. A lot of good fighters coming out of CFC. And, he's got big power in his hands, good striking. He can get takedowns. He can grapple. Overall, he's an older prospect, though. He's like 30 years old. So, I mean, he's coming in with this matchup. So, the UFC want him to kind of hit the ground running. If he's ready to go, he's ready to go. I like him. I like him here. I think he wins. I think he's got so much power in his hands. His striking is really good. I think he eventually finds the button and knocks out Rodolfo Bellato.
Yeah, I agree. I do think we see a finish in this fight. I'm like you said, I'm not a big fan of Bellato. I don't know. I just don't know what to make of him. I mean, he's found a way to survive in fights, but he does take a lot of damage. Leave himself open, and Fernandez seems like he's got a pretty well-rounded skill set, so he should be able to do what he needs to do in this one. Debuting fighter, you never really know what you're going to get. But, yeah, I like Fernandez here myself. All right, our next fight is in the featherweight division. We got Ji-Young Lee taking on Gaston Bolaños. Bolaños, a guy, he's kind of been a mixed bag in his 4 fights in the UFC, win-loss, win-loss. So, he's – I don't know. He's shown that he's got some skills, but he's definitely shown some holes in his game. Lee's got a pretty solid game overall. Another one of these road to the UFC guys, so can never be too high on these guys, but it's he's got a pretty solid skill set. I'll say that. But what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I mean, you got Bolaños, pretty much primarily just a striker. He pretty much has zero grappling. So that's where he can be exploited at is the takedowns and the grappling, because he has literally nothing to offer. There's no get-ups. There's no defending a takedown. It's just a gust of wind and take this guy down. But if he gets his fight on the feet, he is a pretty decent striker. He is kind of, he's got some power in his hands. He's a decent striker. He's good in striking, but overall, the grappling is just a big hole in his game. We've seen him before. He came through the Bellator ranks, and then I don't know why the UFC chose to sign him and bring him in. But he's here. And Lee, since coming into the UFC, hasn't really had the best of performances. I think he's been a favorite, I think, in both of his UFC fights. He's a pretty decent favorite against Haider Emil, and went out there and wanted to just stand and bang with the guy that's what he wants to do. He wants to stand in the pocket for 5 minutes and throw big bombs, and he paid the price there. And he came in against Willie Cat Santos, right? Yeah, Daniel Santos, and
yeah,
it was on. Santos came in on short notice and was able to put a pace on him and pressure him, get takedowns, and kind of wear him out. And he gassed out pretty bad in that fight after having some early success. But overall skill set, I like his striking. He's got fast hands, good combinations to the head, to the body. I've seen him. He can grapple, but primarily he's just a striker. But I think he would be wise here to go for takedowns. But it's iffy. So it's primarily going to be on the feet, I believe. But I think Lee, the combinations, the speed, I think he can edge out a decision here, a 2-1. It could get greasy though. It could get close, but I like Lee to get the win.
Yeah, I like Lee to win as well. I do like the overs for sure. He's gone to a decision a lot in his career, and Bolaños is a pretty tough guy. But I do think Lee has the overall edge where he can steal some rounds, just with the grappling and just a more well-rounded skill set. I was kind of looking at the +3.5 maybe as a potential for Bolaños, just because he could land some shots on the feet and make it interesting. But I'll figure that out as it goes. It's not a great number, but I do think Bolaños makes a fight of it. So competitive. I expect it to go 3 rounds or at least late into the 3rd round. But yeah, overall, I think Lee gets the job done here. All right, our next fight is in the light heavyweight division. We have, there we go, Rafael Tobias taking on Dair Nurgajai. Tobias looks to be pretty solid. He's got a pretty solid grappling game, which Nurgajai seems to have some holes on the ground. So that could be an interesting path here for him. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Dair Nurgajai kind of just, another guy with a rough start to his UFC career. I bet him on the Contender Series. He got a crazy head kick knockout. Yeah, and he's a striker, good striking, good power, good kicks. But as we've seen in the UFC, people, I mean, have been able to just exploit the grappling hole that he didn't really get exposed before getting to the UFC. I mean, when you're getting submitted by Brenson Ribeiro, I mean, that's a pretty bad look, and it was a Kimura too. I think it was. Yeah,
I think so.
That's just a bad look.
From bottom, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was and then Saltabaliev, Ezekiel choked him from mount, which was, I mean, we haven't seen an Ezekiel choke since what's his name, Alexei Olenek, and
Olenek,
and then Saltabaliev went in there and got the Ezekiel choke, which is, I mean, another crazy submission. Like, so obviously there's no submission game, so you would think he would be drilling that. He's another weird guy. He does the funny tick where he wipes his eye in between punches, which is kind of weird. And yeah, I mean, if you're an opponent, you can kind of time when he's ready to strike and when he's not. So I don't like that about him. And yeah, but on the feet, he could be pretty competitive on the feet. I don't mind his striking on the feet and his power. And then Tobias, making his debut here from what I see. Like you said, really strong grappling, good submission grappling. So, I mean, obviously his path here would be to take this guy down and find a sub somehow, which, I mean, I think he probably could do. The striking on the feet is kind of iffy for him from what I mean, we've seen him get absolutely deaded and knocked out on the regional scene. So, I mean, we've seen maybe his chin has some questions, but I mean, if he goes for takedowns here and implements his game, then I mean, I think this should be probably another easy sub and bye Dair, So yeah, I'm going Tobias here, and I'm going Tobias by sub. So that's probably what my bet will be, sub. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, Tobias, he does leave himself open a little bit. He does like to car crash, but he also likes to, push against the cage and just make it grimy. And, if he can just do that, push him up against the cage, drag him to the ground, the grappling advantage is pretty big here. So, I mean, he should be able to work his game. And that sub is definitely live. I mean, a guy that's been subbed a couple times here back to back, and by submissions that are not really easy to get, just the way they got him. So yeah, I think Tobias gets it here. I think he just, as long as he goes to the grappling game, which I expect him to do. I mean, there's a little worry that he gets a little wild on the feet and gets caught with something, but outside of that, I mean, that can pretty much happen in any fight. Outside of that, I mean, I think he just works his game, and he should have a pretty clear path here. So, yeah, Tobias for me too, and I like the sub look as well. All right, our next fight is in the flyweight division. Yeah, flyweight division. We got Sumadarji taking on Jesus Aguilar. Aguilar is a guy that he doesn't have a whole lot of skills. He's very dangerous with the submissions. Has a really good squeeze, and he's been pulling out some fights. But he's severely undersized in this one against Sumadarji. He's got a massive reach disadvantage. He's got a height disadvantage. And Sumadarji is a guy who, he's had a pretty mixed results in the UFC. He's lost some fights that he probably should have won, and not exactly the most trustworthy guy, but he's definitely got the better striking here. He's overall got a pretty solid skill set. Aguilar, bit of a one-trick pony, not much of a striker, a little undersized here, but he's found a way to win some fights. So what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Aguilar, I mean, generally, a low-volume guy, little short T-Rex arms. But, I mean, his last fight against fucking Grulé, I mean, he threw the most volume I think he's ever thrown in probably his whole UFC career. I mean, it was a crazy, incredible performance. But obviously we know now Grulé is pretty much just a punching bag and isn't very good. But yeah, Aguilar, He's got some good submissions. He likes to sell out for that guillotine, which I generally don't like, because you do that and then the guy just, you end up on bottom, and it's just, if you don't get it, you end up on bottom, and it's just not, that's just not a great place to be. He's not the greatest of offensive wrestlers, but he can get takedowns, but he's not the greatest of wrestlers. So, yeah, I don't know. And then Sumadarji is just, he's a long, lengthy kind of guy. Another low kind of, I think both these guys are just kind of low volume. You know, and Sue is definitely, he has like a 10-inch reach advantage here, big advantage there. Yeah, it's crazy. You know, and he's probably going to want to keep this on the outside and use his striking. I mean, he's got really good striking, sharp elbows. He's, you know, really good striker, but where he can be exploited at is kind of in the grappling department. You know, he can be submitted. He's got numerous submissions on his record. So yeah, I mean, but we've seen him go to war. I mean, one of my favorite fights to watch is him and Matt Schnell, which is an epic banger. Great fight. And yeah, I mean, I can't bet Aguilar. I don't know. It's just, I know he's coming off a career best performance, but I can't get behind Aguilar. It's going to have to be Sue or nothing for me here. Yeah. Probably Sue by decision, because Aguilar, the tough Mexican, they're hard to put away. Yeah. So yeah, I think he can just, I mean, he's going to probably just be sitting in the pocket staring, but I think he's tough enough to survive and make it to the distance. So yeah, Sue by decision for me.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. I think Sumadarji just controls it. I mean, Aguilar is a very good grappler, but he doesn't have like power wrestling. He's not grabbing takedowns all the time. So I think Sumadarji is just going to be able to work his way on the outside and just you know, I'll point him. I mean, that's pretty much the path here. Just avoid getting caught in anything. Don't get your head stuck in anything. Outside of that, I mean, I don't worry about a power, you know, there's not a big power threat here. So, you know, with the massive size advantage, being able to keep the range, I think Sumadarji gets it done. You know, I guess there's a shot that he does finish him, but like you said, Aguilar is pretty tough, and I can see him. I can see this one going all 3 rounds, but I do like Sumadarji. I just think he's just the size difference, the range difference is just going to be enough to get him the win here.
Yeah.
All right, we stick into the flyweight division here. Got one of the more entertaining fighters that we've seen in Cody Durden, kind of killer be killed guy, taking a Naima Jagar Tumarendabrel, tough name to say, but yeah, I mean, Durden, we know he's first round comes out, he's you know, he's looking to grapple, he's looking to throw decent amount of volume. Cardio doesn't always check out for him. He's taking some tough losses against some, you know, he's lost to some pretty decent guys, but you know, with him, it's more about, can he hold up the pace over the course of 3 rounds? Tumarendabrel, he's you know, he's pretty solid. Another road to the UFC guy. Does have some issues with grapplers. That's kind of, he's, you know, we've seen him getting taken down in the past, but you know, Durden is a dog here that I'm looking at. What are your thoughts on this one?
Oh man, Cody Durden. I don't know. The guy, I mean, he looks kind of cooked to me. I don't know, just off his last.
That's the worry.
Off his last kind of couple of fights. I mean, he comes out, looks really solid in round 1, beats guys up, almost finishes them, and then it just seems once that second round bell hits, he just kind of just falls off a cliff. And I don't know if it's the cardio or the durability or both. They seem to have kind of left him. You know, he's a power wrestler. He's got good boxing. He's decently well-rounded, you know, but it's the cardio. He slows down later in fights. I mean, he hasn't really been wrestling too much as of recent in most of his fights. Yeah, and it's like, I don't know what to make. And he's been getting finished in a lot of his fights. And it's like, I know a couple of these fights he's been taking them on short notice. So I don't know if that has maybe something to do with it or what. But yeah, I don't know if I can get behind Cody Durden at this time in his career. And Tugendembrel. It's cut road to UFC guy, so two-time road to the UFC guy. I think he went through twice. And, we've seen him in the UFC before. It's like he's got big power in his hands. He's a finisher, optimistic submission game. Yeah, I don't know. This is a tough one for me. I really don't want to lay juice on Tugendembrel, but I really don't want to back Cody Durden. I think, man, I've got a feeling that Tugendembrel gets the finish here, though. I think he chokes out Cody Durden after Durden looks. I mean, this might be a good live betting spot where you see, Durden probably has success early, and he probably wins round one, but then he just falls off the cliff and then maybe shoots himself into something. And Tugendembrel, I mean, he's got good submissions and he's got big power in his hands. So, yeah, I'm going to lean Tugendembrel here, gets the finish, and sends Cody Durden packing. And this might be the last we see of Cody Durden. But he's probably in good grace with the UFC because he takes all these short notice fights. So
he does.
Maybe not.
Yeah. And he fights. Like he's never in a boring fight. So that goes a long way. But yeah, so I'm gonna pick Cody Durden, to win as an official pick. And my thought is, if you're betting Durden, you get plus money on him. Obviously, some money's coming in on Tugendembrel. I just can't say this guy's name. So the line on Durden is getting kind of better as it goes. And then, like you said, I mean, he can come out and win the first round, and you can get Tugendembrel at close to even money, maybe even plus money, depending on how that first round goes. So potentially you could have plus money on both sides here.
Yeah.
I think if Durden's going to win a fight in the UFC, it would be this one. I don't know how many more wins he has in him. Like you said, I mean, he does look like he's definitely fallen off a little bit. The durability might not be there anymore. So could easily see him getting finished in this one. But I do think it's a pretty close fight. I think Durden comes out, wins the first round, and I'm going to roll with him. I'm going to roll with Durden here, and I'll be looking to bet this one live, though, because I think this will be a really good opportunity to get a live spot here on the favorite. All right, moving right along here, we have a featherweight fight. Ricky Turcios moving up, taking on Alberto Montez. Ricky, another one of those weird guys when he had, won the Ultimate Fighter. Kind of just a strange character, strange fighting style. Hasn't really had the greatest of runs since winning the Ultimate Fighter. Taking on Montez here, who's he looks to be pretty solid. He's got a pretty good submission game overall, not too bad. He's the favorite in this one. Ricky has not, like I said, he has not looked great. What are your thoughts coming into this one?
Yeah, Ricky Turcios, another guy, came through the tough house. He looked decent. I was kind of high on him coming into the UFC. I backed him. He was a pretty significant favorite against Amin Zahabi. And I mean, that fight that one goes in the books. I mean, he threw like 200 significant strikes and probably only landed about 10, which was, I mean,
yeah, he threw a million strikes in that fight.
He threw a million strikes and didn't land and was yelling at him to come on. That performance was just rough. And, it's just he hasn't had the greatest of runs in the UFC. He hasn't been, as active as much as well. I mean, his only win is against Kevin Natividad. I mean, that guy is absolutely fucking dreadful. And then, the Raul Rosas fight, he came in and, I mean, Raul, they were supposed to fight at Elevation in Mexico City, where I think, maybe Ricky could have stood a better shot there because, I mean, Ricky's got really good cardio. So maybe, Rosas, would have got the grappling and kind of gassed out later on in the fight, and Ricky could have kind of took over. But they didn't fight in Mexico City. And, yeah, I mean, Rosas pretty much did what he had to do and took him down, ragdoll him, and choked him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Bernardo Sopai just, I mean, absolutely went to work, and yeah, he hasn't looked great. I don't know. He's got a decent skill set. I mean, the takedown defense is okay. The cardio checks out. The striking is, I mean, it's just volume, and if he lands pretty much. Yeah, not a big Tercios fan. And Alberto Montes, yeah, looked really good on the Contender Series. 3 straight wins by submission. Just, he's kind of a low-volume striker. Good grappling, good submissions. But, the striking, when he does throw, he does have some decent pop in his hands. Yeah, it's just, he's older already, and the inactivity is kind of concerning. Like, he doesn't really fight much, which is kind of weird. So I don't really know what's going on with that, but he's got the skill set here. Obviously, Tercios is going to put a pace on him, put the volume on. That's my concern is Ricky just throwing all this empty volume, making it look good, and Montes is a little too low volume. But, I mean, this guy's sub game is pretty sick from what I've seen in his last few fights. So I think eventually we've seen Tercios kind of vulnerable to the sub before. I think he locks something up here and probably chokes him out. I'm going to be sprinkling the sub. It was like 265. Plus 265. I don't mind that as a little sprinkle here just on this kind of shitty fight.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably the best way to bet this one because I mean, Tercios can make it interesting for sure. I mean, he scrambles well. He's active when he's in there. He doesn't land a lot of volume, but he does throw a lot of volume. So you never really know what the judges are looking at. Especially if he is landing something. But yeah, I mean the sub game here for Montes is pretty sharp. I mean, he loves the anaconda choke. He's got multiple finishes with that. And, Tercios, he does scramble well, but he does get in trouble on the ground as well. So, yeah, I like the sub look here as well. Plus 265. If that's all I have going into this fight, I'd be cool with that.
Yep.
All right, our next fight is in the middleweight division. We've got our favorite fighter here, Cody Brundage, taking on Dante Johnson. Brundage taking another fight on short notice, probably the only reason he's still in the UFC. He looked pretty bad in his last fight earlier this year, but he's a guy that will show up whenever they call him. So, I mean, he keeps his spot on the roster. Taking on Dante Johnson here, who's got some pretty big power. He's explosive, big dude. It's a Cody Brundage fight, so it's probably going to be pretty short. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, another guy, Cody Brundage, who's probably only in the UFC for taking these short notice fights. I mean, because how is this guy still in the UFC? All the shit he pulls off in there. I mean, he looks for a disqualification in mismatches like this. Like he'll throw the back of his head out there so you can smash it and get disqualified. We've seen it before. He's done it many times, and and he'll act his way to it, and he won't fight, and he'll win this disqualification. Yeah, I don't know what he's still doing in the UFC. I mean, but he does have power in his hands. The striking isn't really, it's kind of wild, but he does have decent power. Wrestling, not all that great. He got out-grappled by Cedricus Dumas. Never really a good look. But he'll pull another guy that likes to pull that stupid guillotine, which I think is absolutely idiotic. And that's one of his favorite moves. So, yeah, I don't know what this guy's still doing in the UFC. And Dante Johnson, he looks pretty good. Big, strong, athletic guy, big power in his hands, former football player, relatively kind of inexperienced in MMA, which is always kind of concerning, kind of late on. So, but he's a big, massive guy. He was fighting at heavyweight, and now he's dropping down to 185. So he's got big power in his hands. Yeah. I mean, how does this end? And I mean, he did submit. I mean, the last fight with Shadrikas Dumas, really, I was not too impressed with his performance. But I mean, he was able to get a takedown and then get the sub, which was kind of crazy. We never would have thought that. I had a pretty decent amount of money on the knockout, and that kind of hurt me. But yeah, I mean, I think this is probably Dante Johnson probably murks and starches him. I would think, but yeah, I think he puts him out, knocks him out cold. It just gotta just stay away from the Brundage bullshit and not get DQ'd. And I think he should smash this dude. So
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, could easily see Brundage turtled up late in the first round and just eating punches, just trying to get the blow to the back of the head or some kind of illegal knee. But as long as those illegal shots don't land, he probably gets taken out. I like the under in this fight. I bet it already. I bet the under 1.5 with Fernandez in a parlay, and I think the under 1.5 was like minus 135 or something like that. I don't know what it's at right now, but yeah, I don't see this fight going very long. I mean, even if Brundage wins, I feel like it would probably be, I feel like he catches him with something because he does. At his best, Cody Brundage is explosive in the first round. He can land takedowns early. He can land big power early. But I didn't really see that so much in his last fight. It feels like he's almost feels like he's checked out and he's kind of just here for a paycheck at this point. But I see either way. I feel like this fight goes under 1.5. But yeah, more than likely Brundage is either getting completely knocked out or he's on his knees just taking punches and the ref steps in and stops it.
I think he gets flatlined.
Yeah, he just looks to shell up if he takes a big shot. So yeah, like the under. All right. Moving right along to what do we got? A bantamweight fight here. We got the former champ Cody Garbrandt taking on Zhao Long. Long, another road to UFC guy. Garbrandt, I mean, who knows where he's at this point? The chin, obviously always a question mark. But I will say Zhao Long has been knocked out 3 times in his career as well. So both guys can be cracked. Cody's, obviously very fast. He's fought the much higher level of competition. But recently, I mean, the volumes hasn't looked great. It just hasn't looked like the Cody Garbrandt that we knew 6-7 years ago. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Cody Garbrandt, another guy that looks absolutely just cooked and washed. I mean, we already know the chin has been long gone. We can just check that off. But then, he's which makes him now, which he's a low volume guy that's kind of scared to exchange. I mean, his speed is still there. I mean, he still has the speed. It's just he's so low volume now. The cardio just doesn't look great. He's just, I don't know what to make of him. I mean, the Barcelos fight, he had some success in round 1 and then just absolutely kind of fell off a cliff, and Barcelos was able to just take it over and pretty much do whatever he wanted in the second half of that fight. And, his wins, I mean, the Trevin Jones fight was just, absolutely just terrible. I mean, he pretty much didn't do anything in that fight, and somehow it was a low-volume win. And he's just, the Figgy fight just got absolutely just dominated on the mat. And, yeah, it's just this guy had his run. I mean, it was a legendary run. I mean, the Dominic Cruz fights, the Dillashaw fights, it was a good run. But once that chin goes, then that affects your whole style, your whole game. Like, you're not willing to stand in the pocket and exchange anymore once you've been knocked out so many times. So that changes your style of fighting. And yeah, I don't know what he's got left anymore. I don't really think he has anything left. And Long Zhao, another road to UFC guy, kind of unproven guy, fighting low-level competition, but kind of a dangerous striker. He's going to walk forward. He's going to throw volume. He's going to, He can grapple a little bit. I've seen him wrestle a little bit. He can mix it up. It's just I don't know if I want to lay like minus 140 on him, or 150 or whatever he was last time. 150, I think I saw last time.
Yeah.
And it's another one where, but I don't want to bet Cody Garbrandt.
Right.
So, I mean, what's the thing to do is you pretty much just have to fade the chin. I mean, you take a shot, I think, on Long by knockout. You just fade that chin. And hopefully you catch a number on that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, the pick for me. The official pick is going to be Long Zhao, but whether I get to a money line bet, probably not. I'm probably going to end up just fading that chin and sprinkling the knockout.
Yeah, it's not a bad way to look at it. I don't know, man. The thing about this fight is Cody has just fought much better guys. I definitely think he can win with the speed. If he does throw the volume, he could win.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I'm gonna bet this fight, I'd probably be betting Cody, but that's one of those bets where you're like, you bet it, and then it loses, and you're like,
what am I doing?
Cody Garbrandt again.
Yeah,
that's just
yeah.
So, I don't know, man. I might just fade this fight altogether.
Yeah.
I don't know. To say for an official pick, I'll take Cody. Because I do think at his best, like if he can put together a decent performance, I think he is better than this guy. But I mean, it's so hard to know where he's at. Like you said, the cardio drop off is a real red flag because that was never a problem. I mean,
no.
That win over Dominic Cruz, that was one of the best championship performances that we've ever seen. I mean, he looked untouchable in that fight. And then, those Dillashaw fights happened, and he looked good in those fights too. He cracked Dillashaw both times, but he ended up getting himself knocked out. So, and we haven't seen a lot of good performances since then. I think was it Henan Barral that he knocked out clean with like 1 second left on the clock in the second round. That was pretty sick. But other than that, I mean, he's kind of squeaked by a little bit, and then obviously, he's lost some as well. So it hasn't been a great the last 3-4 years for him. But yeah, I don't know. A fight like this, I don't know. I feel like the dog shot is worth it here, but I mean, confidence wise.
Yeah, can you really be confident backing Cody Garbrandt in 2026? Because I thought about taking him. Maybe he was like, I thought about picking him as a dog. I did, but then I thought to myself, like, man, can I really back Cody Garbrandt in 2026?
Yeah. And, we've seen it time and time again. Like, usually if you're feeling that way, that's probably the right way to feel. But
probably just better off just passing on the fight.
That's kind of where I'm at. I think Cody can win if he's going to win a fight.
Maybe you watch it live and maybe get in live.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't have to bet every fight, and I don't have to bet this one. So I will say,
the wise man once told me there's a winner in every fight. So.
Well, that's true. That is true. But who knows? But I definitely think this is a live fight for sure. I'd rather just watch it live and see what happens. All right, our next fight is a rematch from a few years ago. We got Gregory Rodriguez taking on Bruno Ferreira, middleweight bout. I lost a lot of money the last time these two fought because I was on Gregory. Mm-hmm. I had him in multiple parlays. I thought he was just going to kill this kid, and that was a tough death that night when Ferreira just clipped him, put him out. And that's always the risk. Ferreira's got the big power. Gregory's a big, strong guy. He's tough as nails, and we've seen him take massive shots, but we've also seen him knocked out a few times. So the chin, sometimes it checks out. Other times that off switch clicks pretty easy. I mean, overall skill set, Gregory definitely should be the favorite here. But, man, after that last fight, anything can happen. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. They're putting back on. I was like you. I was on the Hobo Cop knockout, pretty big on that in that fight. And yeah, I mean, he just bonked him and absolutely starched him and sent him to Jupiter and planted him. Bruno, he's got big power in his hands. He's decent grappler. I mean, he's got decent subs. I mean, he's on a nice little run here. He's on a 3-fight win streak. He's against pretty good guys. Petrosian. Yeah, Marvin Vittori. He beat Marvin Vittori in a decision. His thing always was like his cardio, but I don't know. It seems to have kind of made some big improvements. I mean, you're beating Marvin Vittori in a decision. I mean, that's a pretty good look. So I mean, obviously he's probably worked on his cardio, and which I'm hoping he did, because I mean he's able to go 3 rounds now. That's not a question anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely improved.
And yeah, he's got that that big bomb in his hands. That's big power. Yeah, and this line to me, I mean, Gregory's on a pretty decent run too. His last loss was when Jared Cannonier, which was, I mean, he almost had Jared Cannonier dead to rights in the first round, and then absolutely death gas and got cooked in that fight and absolutely destroyed. But I mean, him himself, I mean, he's on he's like 5-1, I think, in his last 6 fights in the UFC. So I mean, he's on a pretty decent run. The Kopylov fight, I thought he would finish Kopylov, but I mean, Kopylov's, he toughed it out and was able to make it to a decision. Yeah. And RoboCop's got big power in his hands. He's got that fucking submission game in his back pocket, just never chooses to use it. World class BJJ practitioner, and just never wants to use it. So yeah, I mean, I think these guys probably stand and bang again. I think I'm looking forward to watching this one. I think this line is kind of crazy. I mean, after what happened in the first fight, now you're giving me Bruno at like plus 200 after he already starched him and put him away. I mean, I don't know why is this line so big? It seems kind of fishy to me.
Wild. Yeah, it's kind of wild.
It's kind of fishy. I thought it would be more closer to I would make it probably -10 both sides. You know what I mean? So if that's the case, I got to roll with Bruno. He's already knocked him out once. He's already touched that chin and put him out. I mean, why can't he do it again? I mean, I like unders here probably, but I can see these guys kind of being more cautious, and maybe it goes longer. I don't know. But ultimately, I think somebody gets knocked out here, and I got to roll with Bruno here. He's done it once. Yeah, I got to roll. The money line is just crazy to me, so I got to take the dog shot on him, and yeah, hopefully he knocks him out.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I've gone back and forth all week because I think the dog money is definitely a good play.
I think it's just too crazy after what happened in the first fight, and then we've seen the improvements that Bruno has made. So
yeah, and that's why I was so heavy RoboCop the first time, because I thought, this kid's going to gas out after 1 round. RoboCop's just going to work him, and obviously we didn't get to see that. But Ferreira, like you said, his cardio. That's definitely been the biggest improvement in his game. Like, even in fights where he's looked tired late, he still finds a way to kind of just keep fighting and doing what he has to do. So I definitely give him credit for the improvements there. It's a big improvement.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think RoboCop is the better fighter, and he definitely has a path if he does decide to grapple. Ferreira can grapple as well. He's a big, strong kid, but I definitely think RoboCop would have the advantage if he did grapple. It is a 3-round fight, so I don't worry so much about his cardio as I would have in a 5-round fight. But yeah, I don't know, man, because he could be caught at any point. I mean, we saw it, and that's what happens. It's one of those things. Ferreira caught him. He's been caught by worse guys, and he could definitely be clipped again. But overall, I have to go with RoboCop. I do think he's the better fighter overall. I mean, he's had some really good performances. He's been on a good run. So I think I have to go with him. I think he wins. But yeah, I mean, if he gets knocked out, I'm not going to stake my night on it like I did the last time these guys fought. That's for sure. That was a rough night. So yeah, I think RoboCop wins. But yeah, I mean the line's a little wide, and yeah, it's a tough one.
How are you betting him?
I don't know if I don't know if I am.
Or you
Honestly, if I did,
knockout, right?
I don't
or
even
decision.
know, man. I think
Maybe
I might
decision?
bet the over. I might bet the over.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. Yeah.
Our guy signed in the chat. He's got RoboCop KO, which definitely could see it. But I don't know, man. I think the over in this fight is because I don't think
you can see like RoboCop would be kind of more reluctant to exchange than he did the last time.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't because in that first fight he was coming for him. He was walking forward.
Yeah,
he was doing good work. Like when that fight started, I was like, yes, I got this. This is a wrap. And then the next thing I know, he's getting clipped and it's over. I mean, he was doing good work on the feet in that one. So I would imagine he maybe tries to be a little bit more patient. Maybe mixes in some takedowns. I mean, if I was in his corner, I'd probably try to get him to do that. Because when it's on the mat, he's extremely dangerous, and he's got heavy ground and pound. He's got the skills to do that. But yeah, to me, I don't know, man. I feel like I think if Rodriguez wins, it probably goes a little bit longer. I think he a little bit more patient, maybe tries to stay at range, and hopefully grab a couple takedowns. But yeah, I would think it goes long. So if I bet him, I mean, maybe even just betting him with the over 1.5 just to get a little bit of better number. But yeah, that's probably the way I'd go. All right, our next fight is in the lightweight division. Got a couple aging vets here. Drew Dober taking on Michael Johnson. Johnson, he's been on a pretty decent run as of late. Dober, guy who had the granite chin for so long. And, we saw that kind of get cracked, and durability not as good as it used to be with him, but he's still got big-time power. He's still, a very good fighter. And the question here is going to be, can Johnson just be the faster guy? Because, I mean, I feel like if Johnson's faster and landing, that's his path to victory here, and avoiding the power of Dober. But, yeah, I mean, Dober kind of feels like he's slowing down a pretty decent amount. I wasn't really impressed with his last fight. But, yeah, I mean, still a pretty even matchup here. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this should be a banger. I'm looking forward to this one. All Drew Dober fights are pretty much bangers. He's going to go in there. He's going to throw big bombs. He's not going to really, have any defense, any striking defense, and he's going to go out there and try to take your head off. And mostly he was on a nice little run where he was pretty much effectively doing that. I mean, he was knocking out everybody, just walking through everybody, and then he met Steamroller for Vola, and then I mean that after that fight, I think that knockout might have cracked his chin. I mean, generally a chin that we thought was just uncrackable. You couldn't get this guy out, and then recently he just hasn't been on a good run. The Manuel Torres fight, I mean, just got absolutely starched there. The John Silva fight, I mean, he took massive amounts of damage in that fight. Eventually it got stopped due to the cut. And yeah, and then fucking Kyle Prepelec, he was fighting tooth and nail with Kyle Prepelec. Yeah. And, he fucking nutshotted him. And then, he was losing that fight. He was down 2 rounds on the scorecards in that fight. And then, he did the nut shot. And then after he recovered, he just blitzed him and was able to scrape out a knockout there. So yeah, I don't know where Dober is right now. I think the chin is pretty much. I think it's been cracked. But he's gonna go out there. He's still gonna brawl. He's still gonna do what he does. He's gonna be Drew Dober. I don't think that's gonna change the way he fights. So we're probably gonna get an action-packed fight. And Michael Johnson, one of the kind of he's on a nice run. He's on a great run right now. I kind of counted Michael Johnson out because he was kind of a flaky guy where he looks great in a fight. He's winning a fight until he's not. He just something stupid happens or he drops the ball. And it's but yeah, the run he's on now, I mean, he looks pretty decent. He's got the fast hands, he's got the good boxing. I don't think either one of these guys are really going to shoot for a takedown. I think this is going to be striking on the feet. This is going to be a fight for the fans, I think. So it should be a good one. Dober's going to bring it. I think Johnson's game. And yeah, I like the speed and the durability. I like the speed, and I think Johnson probably has the slightly better durability at this stage in their career, even though Johnson is 39 years old and has had 100 million fights. But I just think his durability is a little bit better, and he's got the faster hands. And yeah, eventually I think he keeps it on the outside and just pieces him up. And yeah, Joe Dober's striking defense has not looked great. So I think Johnson can do some good work here. And I don't know if he knocks him out, but I think I like the Michael Johnson side here. I'm not going to pick a knockout or a decision, but I think he gets it done. I think he can get it done either way.
Yeah, I agree, man. Like, because I'm with you. I thought Johnson was done a long time ago, and then you go back and you look at the losses that he has taken over the last couple of years. All right. Some of the losses Johnson's taken have been, fights he could have won. He lost a couple split decisions that he probably should have won. And, obviously he's on a nice run now. The speed has not slowed down one bit. He's got the power, the durability. I mean, he can definitely be knocked out, but, he can take a pretty decent shot still. So the volume's still pretty good. And with Dober, I don't know, that Prepelec fight, I was sweating because I thought if there was a fight where Dober could look like $1 million and kind of bounce back and be Drew Dober, it was that Prepelec fight. And I was sweating that whole fight till he turned it on at the end. And which he's capable of doing here. I mean, when Michael Johnson loses by finish, it is generally fights where he is looking great, and then he either gets caught with a submission or he gets knocked out cold as ice. The Diego Ferreira fight.
I thought he won that Malarkey fight.
I thought he won the Jamie Malarkey fight. That's what I was just saying when you went away. Like that fight, I thought he won. I was on Malarkey in that fight. I felt very lucky to get that decision. Because I did not think Malarkey won. You're watching it, and I still don't. I'm watching it back. I mean, he landed the big power. Definitely should have won that fight. So going back, looking at his losses, not terrible. Aside from that Ferreira fight that was brutal. I mean, that was a tough knockout. But I mean, I don't know, man. Michael Johnson, he's still fast. He's still good, and the odds in this one are close enough. I feel like Johnson's probably a decent value play here. Drew Dober is always live to land a big shot, but I just don't think he's got. I don't know. I just don't think he's got it anymore. He's not as quick. He's not as aggressive, and I feel like he kind of at this point in his career, I think he's more relying on the knockout than anything. So, yeah, give me Michael Johnson here. All right, our next fight, we've got an aging vet taking on a young up-and-comer here. We got Rob Font taking on Raul Rosas Jr. Bantamweight bout. Font has been around seemingly forever. Raul Rosas Jr., we saw him, how was he, like 18 when he made his UFC debut? He's been around for a few years now. He took his L a few fights ago. Bounced back with a couple wins, and hasn't looked overly impressive. I mean, the Tercios fight, he just kind of ran through Tercios, but still kind of question marks with Raul Rosas. But I mean, he's still a very young kid. And Font, we know, very good striker, keeps it on the feet. He probably wins this fight 10 out of 10 times, but he does have some issues. He has been taken down a good amount in the past. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. This is kind of the up and comer versus the old vet. They've been trying to book this fight for a while. I think it was on the Seattle card they were trying to book it, and then Rosas pulled out for some weird reason. He said he was gonna coach his brother was fighting the same night, so he couldn't fight. And then heard there were some injury rumors, so he's been off for how long has he been off for? He's been off for almost a year, which is like if you were gonna take a fight at the end of last year, why have you been off for so long?
Right.
You didn't fight on UFC Mexico. Like, why was that? Why didn't you? Should have been on that card. Probably because the elevation. Because we've seen him kind of slow down in some fights before.
Yeah.
But he's got his good grappling game. The striking is not the greatest. But the grappling is super strong. Good takedowns, good wrestling. Yeah, it looks like a decent prospect. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the C-Rod fight, C-Rod did what C-Rod did. He took his loss there, and then it's kind of been, the Tercios fight, he locks up a submission there, but he's kind of been a decisionator. The Arichi Lang fight was, I mean, he was kind of, I don't know if he wanted to test out his striking in that fight, but he didn't really use his wrestling till like the back half of the fight, which was kind of like, what are you doing, dude? Just take this guy down and maul him. But he didn't use his wrestling till the second half of the fight, which is kind of, what are you doing? And then the Vince Morales fight, Morales had some moments in that fight. Morales is a crafty vet, but ultimately, Rosas just pretty much mauled him. And yeah, Rob Font, one of these vets, solid jab, one of the best jabs in the game, really good striking. But the takedown defense is Achilles' heel. I mean, everybody takes down Rob Font. Whether you can hold him down there, that's the question. I mean, he eked out a close, decision against Masamoto. In that fight, in his last fight, I think that was his last fight. Was it his last fight? The Matsumoto fight?
Matsumoto, I believe, was, yeah.
No, David Martinez. David Martinez was his last fight.
Oh, that's right.
David Martinez got worked in that fight, taken down, and pretty much beat up in that fight. The Matsumoto fight was kind of a good performance. Matsumoto's not really a power grappler, so he couldn't really hold Rob Font down. Rob Font was able to, he got taken down, but he was able to return to his feet and land the more damage. Yeah, I think Rosas is going to be able to get takedowns here. Can he hold him down? Can he effectively hold him down for 3 rounds? Because on the feet, I mean, there's just big level gap here on the feet. I mean, Rob Font, if this is a boxing match, Rob Font is like a minus 800, minus 1,000 favorite,
Yeah.
Because, Rosas, that's where the one hole in Rosas' game is he needs to improve that striking. But yeah, I mean, this is maybe could be a good live betting spot if you see Rob Font kind of, maybe stuffing the takedowns or kind of getting back up and able to kind of, kind of just sprawl and ball and make it dirty. But ultimately, I think Rosas is able to get takedowns here and just implement his game plan here. And, it's just the Achilles heel for Rob Font, takedown defense. Corey Sandhagen out-wrestled them. The David Martinez fight. So... Yep, I like Rosas here, probably by decision. Font's a tough guy; he's hard to finish. So yeah, give me Rosas by decision.
Yeah,
I think he could have Font in some dangerous positions where it might look like he might lock up a sub, but I don't know. It's not. Font's submission defense is pretty good, but yeah, I think ultimately it goes long.
Yeah, I agree. I think it goes long. Actually, I kind of like the plus 3.5 on Font because I do think I still think Rosas' cardio is not really where it should be, and against a guy like Rob Font, who's going to be able to defend the chokes and defend on the ground, and obviously he knows coming into this fight he's got to try to stop the wrestling in some capacity. I think he can keep it interesting. I think he can keep it close, and I am going to be interested to watch this one live because even if he does get taken down in the first round and controlled a little bit, we'll be able to tell if the next couple rounds are going to be the same or if Font's going to be able to put some work on him and make it a struggle. So I think Rob Font might be a good live spot here for sure. Ultimately, I mean, I have to side with the younger guy here who does have the grappling, and Font has obviously struggled with the grappling in the past. Now, Font has also fought a lot of high-level guys that have taken him down. So, Rosas, I wouldn't say is on that level yet. But, yeah, I mean, I think Rosas, if he just keeps improving, because that's the thing, too. He's very young. I think he's maybe 21 right now. So a very young kid. He can improve leaps and bounds strength-wise. I mean, your strength when time you're 18 to the time you're 21 improves pretty greatly. So this kid could rocket ship here. But yeah, I think Rosas wins. The grappling is just probably going to be too much. But yeah, I mean, Font, if he does show any ability to stop the takedowns, he's going to probably destroy him on the feet. So he's live here for sure. He's live. All right, our next fight is in the middleweight division. And we've got Kyle Bahayo taking on Renner de Ritter. De Ritter is a guy that I think I'm 0 on his fights. I don't think I've ever correctly bet on him or against him. Was very high on him in his last fight for the first time, I think, in his UFC career. And he absolutely shit the bed after one really good round. I don't understand how you gas out when you're dominating a guy in your realm, but he did. So big time question marks with Renner de Ritter coming in this one. Kyle Bahayo is a guy, he's got a very well-rounded skill set. His striking has improved greatly since getting into the UFC, and he is a grappler by trade. I mean, he came in as more of a grappler to the UFC. So, I mean, I can't get a de Ritter fight right, so let's hear what you have to say.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. This is another one where I kind of think the line is kind of wide because you make this fight before the Brendan Allen fight, and I think it's probably closer to like a pick'em, maybe Kyle minus 150.
De Ritter might even be a favorite in that one before that.
Before the Brendan Allen fight, it's just that fight was just a terrible performance. He said he was sick. I think he had a ammonia or some kind of bullshit, and he was getting tired walking upstairs. Just didn't look good. I mean, he looked decent in round one, and then kind of absolutely just fell off a cliff and gassed out and quit on the stool. He's a big dude, cuts a lot of weight. Decent striking, kind of unorthodox, throws a lot of funky stuff. Decent volume, really good submission grappler. We've seen him coming out through one championship. He's always, fought in the bigger guys. He was a 2-division champ. So he's got the pedigree here. I don't know whether it's what to do with that last performance though. With that last performance, I backed him in the Mearshart fight. I backed him in the Holland fight, and I took Bo Nickel, and he absolutely ran through Bo Nickel, which was and then I was on Robert Whitaker, and I thought that was a, I mean, another great performance against Robert Whitaker. You know, that was And then he comes and lays a dud and was sick in the Brendan Allen fight, and now he's a big underdog to Kyle. He's a tricky guy, man. The Ritter guy is tricky, man. He's a good grappler, decent striking, unorthodox volume, and then you got Kyle here, who, like you said, he came into the UFC primarily a grappler, but he's made big improvements in his striking. You know, even though okay, the striking I give him plaudits on is the Cannonier fight, but he got absolutely schooled by Nasruddin Imavov, put a clinic on him, made him look kind of silly in that fight. And then now he takes a year off and he's coming back. God, this is a tough one for me. I think I want to pick the Ritter here. I think I want to take the dog shot on the Ritter. I don't know. I've got a weird feeling about this one, man. I think this is just people buying low on RDR here. You know, they've seen his last performance where he just death gassed and looked like shit.
Yeah.
But if he comes in healthy here and this is a 3-round fight, 3 rounds. So it's not a 5-round fight. This is 3 rounds. I mean, Why can't he get a takedown and bank the first round and kind of just, and then after that, you know what I mean? I think he can make it interesting here. You know, Kyle's not really a finisher. I really don't worry about him knocking out RDR or submitting RDR. If Kyle wins, it's probably going to be a decision where he's probably picking him away at the feet. I don't think he's really going to want to take the Ritter down. So, yeah, I mean, I think this line is kind of wide. I think it's kind of based off the last fight with Brendan Allen. So I got to ride with the dog here and take the shot on RDR. Just as a pure value spot.
When I saw the fight booked, I was like, Bahia is going to win this fight. And then you think about it, and the thought of it being an off night for De Ritter where, you know, something could have been wrong because it didn't make sense. I mean, cardio's never looked like an issue with that guy. So
no,
there could have been something, you know, whatever he said. I mean, it could be the truth. I think it's a pretty close fight. I mean, if De Ritter's cardio is there, he's a weird striker. He's a big dude, obviously. And like you said, Bahaio's not really a finisher. So, I mean, he's been in some close decisions, and he's won decisions that, you know, are a little bit sketchy. It was a Murdoch fight where I did not think he won that fight, and he got that decision. I mean, I don't mind the dog or pass spot here with De Ritter. I mean, like I said, I severely underrated him when he came into the UFC. So, you know, that's on me. And then he put on those great performances, and I decided to back him, and I got burned. So I have a sour taste in my mouth with this guy. I just can't get him right. So, but backing him as a pretty sizable underdog. I mean, if I lose that, I lose that. So, yeah, I'll roll here. A dog or pass type spot, and I think De Ritter. Yeah, De Ritter's definitely live in this one.
Yep.
All right. That brings us to our main event of the evening for the BMF title lightweight division. We got Max Holloway defending the BMF belt against Charles Oliveira. These two fought in the past. Was actually a pretty good fight until Oliveira shot in for a takedown and suffered an injury, and that was the end of that. So kind of anticlimactic, but two of the most exciting guys that we've seen over the past really 15 years in the UFC. I mean, Max has looked pretty good since moving up to lightweight, and Charles, obviously former champ, beat, you know, prime Poirier, prime Gaethje, looked, and had that great fight with Sarukian, had Sarukian in some really tough spots. So, yeah, I mean, these guys are. This is a great matchup here. Max obviously more of a striker. Max wants to keep this fight on the feet. Max has pretty good takedown defense. Charles obviously can strike, but his bread and butter is on the ground. Love this fight. Don't really want to see either one of these guys lose. Just two guys that, they're fun to root for. But what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, does it really get any better than this? I mean, these are two of my favorite, pretty much two of my top 5 favorite fighters in the UFC right now. Max Holloway, just absolute legend, absolute dog. You know what you're, getting out of him. He's going to go in there. He's going to throw a million strikes. He's going to put the pace on you. He's a warrior. He's going to stand in there and he's going to bang. And he's, his last fight with Poirier, I mean, he did what he had to do in that fight, even though what I didn't like in that fight is an old dusty Poirier rocked him and hurt him and then almost got that guillotine. That was a moment that kind of stuck out to me in that fight, that you're getting hurt by Poirier. And then, we've seen him kind of, the Gaethje fight, Gaethje kind of hurt him a little bit in that fight. And we seen the end result in that. Those two guys stood at the middle in the end and threw down and banged, and that epic knockout happened.
Yep.
And then he's getting Max has taken a lot of significant strikes, a lot of damage in his career, and Topuria might have been the first one to kind of crack that chin a little bit. He's the first one to knock out Max and actually put him away. So I don't know. There's question marks, and then people, the takedown defense it's good, but I mean, has he really fought like a really grappling heavy style? I mean, most of these guys I'm looking at on his record right now, majority of all of them are pretty much strikers. I mean, Poirier, Topuria, Gaethje, the Korean Zombie, Arnold Allen, Volk, Yair, Calvin Kattar. Who's going to really try to wrestle there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then the power. I don't know if he has the knockout power. I mean, going up, obviously your power is gonna enhance a little bit, but he knocked out a pretty much washed and half, Korean Zombie went in there pretty much to go out on his shield. So I mean, no striking defense. At that point, he was down, I think 2-0, and pretty much just he dropped his hands and kind of just said, "Okay, take me away." And then the Gaethje fight, obviously, we know that happened in that fight. But, yeah, I don't know if Max has the power to finish Charles. I don't know. Charles is pretty tough, man, and pretty durable. Even though Charles does get hurt in almost every single one of his fights, but great recovery ability. We know what he's going to bring. He's going to walk forward. I don't think Charles Oliveira has ever taken a step backwards in a fight. I mean, the guy is just going to – he's on a straight line. He's going to march forward. He's going to try to get to that Muay Thai clinch, throw knees, throw elbows. He's got a sharp hook, good power in his hands. It's just the chin is you kind of have to have a little bit of question marks on the chin just because, he does get cracked. He does get hurt. But Topuria put him out. But, Topuria puts everybody out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I really don't, hold that too much against them. Yeah, this is going to be a super interesting fight. It's going to be Oliveira walking forward, and I think both guys are going to meet in the middle and kind of just throw down. I think it's going to be an entertaining fight. I think it's going to be a banger. I could see Charles getting takedowns here. I don't know. I kind of maybe opportunistic takedowns here. I could see it. And I could see Charles. I don't think Charles is a dead duck on the feet either. I think he can hang with Max on the feet. I think he can land some big power shots. I think he could hurt Max. I think Max can be hurt. I think the durability for Max is kind of waning. You've absorbed that many significant strikes and throughout your career, and that chin finally gets cracked. I think you're going up here in weight. It's these guys hit hard up here, and Charles Oliveira is a very dangerous man. And I think at this money line price, I gotta roll with my guy Dude Bronx here to get the job done, and new BMF champ here. Yeah, I'm rolling with Charles here. I think he gets the job done. I think he can wrestle. I think he can even win a decision. I think he can mix in the grappling and but once he gets to the fight to the ground and he takes your back, I mean, this guy is elite at taking the back, and once he's on there, Max could be in some big trouble, So, yeah, I'm rolling with Charles here as a dog, and yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, the further we get into the week, the more I kind of like Charles, because you really think back to the fights. Like, I mean, they have fought kind of similar competition. They're very similar competition. I mean, both fought Poirier, both fought Gaethje, both fought Topuria. Results kind of the same. I mean, they both lost to Topuria, and they both beat those other guys.
The way Charles made Mateus Gamrot look just like an absolute, like he didn't even belong in there. That to me was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, and really, in Charles wins, like they're all impressive. Like he got hurt against Gaethje and just killed him, quickly after that. Same thing with Poirier
fight, Chandler fight, the first Chandler fight.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Charles is a bad dude, man. And that Sarukian fight, he had Sarukian.
He almost had. I thought he won that fight, even though I thought he had the more finishing positions. He almost finished Sarukian twice in that fight. I thought he could have won that fight. I don't know, but I get why you give it to Arman. But what would Arman do to Max?
That's a good question. I mean, yeah.
I would favor Arman over Max, right?
Yeah, I would probably, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if Sarukian and Shorts don't come off in the first round like that,
he's done.
He might finish. He might finish that.
Okay, if Charles gets the guillotine like Dustin Poirier had in Max's last fight, does Charles finish that?
Yeah, that's another thing. Like I'm watching it back, and I'm like, oh man, if that's Charles there, that's probably a wrap. Yeah.
Oh.
Boy, it's tough. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. Because I was really high on
fight. I love this fight. I was high on Max, and then I start watching some fights, and I start thinking about it more, and I'm like, man, plus 190 on Charles is pretty good. And
that's the thing, man. Like,
it's plus money.
A lot of the times, Charles wins these fights like he's the underdog. I mean, he's the underdog against Beneil Dariush. Absolutely smoked him. Really was kind of I don't know if he was an underdog in his title defenses, but he was like barely a favorite.
Pretty much in all of those fights. Pretty much in a lot of those fights, he's the dog.
Yeah, so Charles, I mean, obviously coming off the Topuria knockout, you kind of worry a little bit with that, but like you said, Max doesn't have the biggest power, but Max is incredible on the feet. I mean, he's so fast, and he can definitely do a lot of work. What I like the most in this fight, I like the overs. I like the over 2.5. I like the over 3.5. The over 3.5 was like minus 120 a couple days ago. I haven't looked today. I probably should have looked before we did the show, but I kind of like the overs in this one. Man, I don't know. I think I don't know, man. I was so confident in Max originally, and now I'm just like, I don't know. I guess
3.5 is minus 105.
Yeah, like I don't mind that because I feel like for the most part, it's probably going to be on the feet for a good majority.
I think if someone gets a finish, it's probably Charles, right? But I could see Holloway knocking him out.
I mean, Max could get him out of there late.
Yeah.
But I don't think early, though. I don't think early. I really don't.
Yeah.
Because even when, I mean, obviously the Topuria fight, that was a clean knockout. But most of the time when Charles gets hurt, he recovers very well, and he either takes over and wins, or he fights through and makes it a long fight. But yeah, so man, this show,
it's a tough one. You got to plant your flag. And
I think as we sit here on a Thursday, I'm gonna have to say I gotta roll with Charles as the dog. Underdogs have been winning these. All right, let's wait. Was Moreno an underdog?
No, Kavanaugh.
Yeah, dog. Kavanaugh was the dog.
Dogs have been barking in these.
Yep. Yeah, so dogs have been barking in the main events lately. Yeah, I guess give me Charles here. But I do like the overs. I think if I'm confident in betting it, over 2.5 maybe as a parlay piece. Over 3.5, I guess you could bet that by itself. It's almost even money. Yeah, I think these guys are going to go to war, and I think it's going to be a great fight. And I guess, yeah, we'll roll with Charles here. All right. So, all right, that's the card broken down. We hit the parlay last week. So let's make another parlay. Here, my phone died, so I'm doing it on the computer, which I don't normally do, but should be fine. I didn't really have anything that I absolutely loved coming into this, but was there anything that stuck out to you that?
Yeah, I mean, I like Rosas on the money line.
Okay, I can get behind that.
You said you like the under 1.5 in the Brundage fight?
Yeah, I do like that. What's that right now?
minus 185. So it gets us. We put those two together, we get plus 121.
Okay, it's about the same as what we had last week.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
All right, it's good. Dante Johnson, Cody Brundage under 1.5 rounds with Raul Rosas plus 121. Like it, love it.
I like it. Let's get
all right now. Let's get a core going here real quick.
Let me roll over to the fantasy side of things here. Sportsbook Daily Fantasy. There we go.
I think we should put Rosas in there.
Yeah, I mean, Rosas makes sense if he's landing takedowns.
The takedowns and he's grappling, control tag. He could score well. I don't mind Rosas. Who do you have in mind?
Who was I looking at here? I kind of like
Johnson.
It's kind of hard to trust and be confident in it, but I kind of like Tobias because I believe he's going to get takedowns. He's 9,000, which is kind of expensive.
I would rather play Johnson over Tobias.
Michael Johnson?
Dante Johnson.
Oh. Okay, I don't hate that. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind that.
Rosas, Johnson, and then mean, I don't mind Charles in there.
Yeah.
Unless you have somebody you like.
I'm looking here. Nobody really like that really stands out as going to be a big time scorer unless you get a finish. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're looking for dogs, Charles is probably.
No, we don't have to do a dog. We don't have to do a dog.
Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna.
Well, I mean, you got 8K. You got 8K left. So I mean, with the Johnson and the Rosas, you got 8K remaining for your last 4. So I mean, we don't have to go dog. You go mid-8s.
Yeah, I guess then you could choose your dog.
You can choose your own dog.
Man, just nobody stands out. Really?
Yeah, it's a tough one,
huh? Montez at 8,500 might do pretty well. Throw Montez in there.
All right. Go Rojas, Dante Johnson, and Montez.
Yeah, then just pick some dogs and
pick the dog. I mean, that leaves you with 77. So I mean, you can. Yeah, there's some ways past you can go here. I mean, you pretty much just have to pick one dog you like, and then you can just build in that mid range. So it's not a bad.
Yeah.
You know, pick your dog and then build in the mid range. So
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that sounds good. We'll be live all weekend. We got 3 races, so we will obviously be live for those. I know Ryan's going to join us from win the race for the I think the Xfinity, the O'Reilly race, and then the rest of the UFC card. So that should be fun.
Let's go.
And yeah, so tune in this weekend and let's make some money. Johnny, if you got anything else, let us know. Otherwise, we'll get out of here.
That's
all right, guys. Give us a like. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. And we will see you this weekend. We're out.
Laters. Chew.